Today's sponsor is Coding Dojo.
Yo, what the fuck?
I think that's good. The M2 MacBook Air, this thing is fantastic for software development. This here's the base model with 8GB of RAM in midnight blue. The cool thing is that as of tomorrow, it'll officially be a month since I made this laptop my daily. And let me tell you, for programming, you cannot go wrong with this thing. I've been working on some projects, some of them which I can't disclose and others just for fun. These are mainly projects that are React related and Flutter related to get this laptop going. However, I thought for today it would be fun to share how I set up my new M2 MacBook Air for programming. So later this month, I can give you all a full review on how this has been performing and if it's even worth replacing your current software development laptop. I think by now you all know how to set up a MacBook. For those who don't, here's what I recommend. After you're done with your networking setup, the migration assistant will in fact pop up. Make sure you have a drive handy in order to create a time machine backup to avoid doing all of these steps every time you factory reset or change Macs. Also, make sure you always sign in with an Apple ID, and for the love of God, use passwords that are hard to decrypt. If you don't have an account, you could create one here. Also, do not uncheck this box. If you ever forget your password, you will not need an Apple Genius Bar assistant to reset it. Keep it checked. Also, keep your account name simple so it's easy to change into the root directory if you ever need to do so. Next, I like turning all of this off. As I go through applications, I will manually set my location. I also turn off any sort of analytics that the laptop might send to Apple and dev teams. I always proceed to disable Siri, turn on file vault disk encryption, and avoid using your iCloud for it. Just store this code on a piece of paper and keep it safe, like in a safe. The rest is pretty much up to you. I like using Touch ID. You can set up your wallet if you wish to, and of course, like any good dev, choose dark mode. It'll make your wallpaper selection and theme look so sleek. By the way, link to the wallpapers down below. Okay, so the first thing I like doing is clearing my dock from useless apps and installing the browsers I need. Browser number 1, Google Chrome. Chrome is the home of developers and it is the most used browser in the world. Chrome along Firefox has some of the best dev tools to overall inspect your projects, whether that's CSS, HTML hierarchy, React hooks, HTTP requests, the JavaScript console, and whatnot. So between Firefox and Chrome, I think it all comes down to preference. There's also Chromium, which is another browser people like to install to run some tests. I've never used it, but it's there for you to use. However, lately I've been personally using Brave, and this was actually a browser I was recommended by one of you. After doing some research, I discovered that Brendan Eich, the creator of JavaScript and co-founder of Firefox, created this browser, and turns out that it is highly secured by allowing you to browse freely and respect your privacy. It also loads pages 3 to 6 times faster than other browsers, and it is Chromium based, so you still have access to Chrome extensions, dev tools, and whatnot. I'll leave a link to the article in the description. I highly suggest you try it out. Now, before we start customizing the terminal, I highly suggest you install Homebrew. But before you do so, just make sure you open the regular terminal, type git, and install the command line developer tools. This will ensure you can properly install Homebrew and use it as your package manager. All you need to do is head to brew.sh, copy the link on their webpage, and paste it on your terminal. It all takes a few minutes to install after you hit the return key to confirm the installation. Just please make sure that once it's done, you run these 2 lines on the terminal to add it to your path. If you don't, the brew command won't work. With brew, you can finally download your very first package called wget. It's a free command utility to download large files, and it's exactly the command we are going to use in Item 2 in order to customize it. Item 2 has been my terminal of choice for a while now. It's pretty cool because with the help of all my CSH and power level 10K, I can make things look super awesome and useful. After you install all my CSH, all you need is to close your terminal and open M2 to proceed with installation. From here, you can pretty much clone the power level 10k repo, open your .cshrc file, change the theme to power level 10k and restart your terminal. Here's where you can pretty much go wild and configure things the way you would like your terminal lines to look and feature. I always suggest that you open up the p10k config file and add the RAM to the right prompt elements. You can also add a bunch of other things if you uncomment them. With all of this being installed, I usually like to tweak my terminal theme to look good. All I do is play with the appearance by using Solarize Dark, bring the transparency down and add some blur. It makes things super clean. Before downloading any code editor, I always make sure my MacBooks have access to my GitHub repos. For me, this is all done through SSH. In order to generate a new SSH key, all you need to do is generate one within the terminal. You then need to let the computer know you want to use this key by starting the SSH agent so you can finally add the key. You can then copy the key from where you added it and then paste the key into your GitHub key settings. Last step is to make sure you establish a test connection with GitHub and make sure to test it. You can then easily clone projects by using the SSH tab, and this, my friends, will avoid you having to enter your credentials all the time. Now, if you are a bit of a newcomer to development and some of the concepts you will find in this video are new to you, I recommend you check out a bootcamp like Coding Dojo to help you out. Coding Dojo is a global technology education company that offers coding bootcamps to help you do so. This not only includes a web development bootcamp, but they also have a curriculum for data science, cybersecurity, and UI UX design. Their curriculum is very well designed to make this your first and last bootcamp you'll ever attend, so you can start tackling projects and truthfully learn even more by doing so. If it's of interest to you, you can download any of their course packets and check out exactly what you will be learning. A few months ago, I personally attended a class and they truly deliver hands-on and structured teaching, which will help you to develop your coding or design skills a lot quicker. I honestly think that their online learning platform was far more effective compared to my online computer science classes at university. Oh, and don't worry, if you can't attend full-time, you also have the ability to do it part-time if it's a career change you're thinking of. Plus, after graduation, Coding Dojo ensures that they're always there for you by being able to reach out to your career services managers to reorient you and find the most suitable career in the industry. Look, I've learned by doing, but I've also realized you need the proper guidance to grow into self-sufficiency so you can learn how to be a proper developer. I think you guys should check out Coding Dojo in the link in the description down below. Now, if you are a web developer, you have most likely encountered VSCode. VSCode is very much the best code editor for all things JavaScript and much more. It has been my main code editor for years now and the app I mainly use for web development, and I thought it would be fun to share the way I like setting things up. First, I recommend you install the code command into your path. Just type Command-Shift-P and write installed code. This will then install the shell command automatically. Next, get yourself a theme. VSCodethemes.com actually offers a bunch of cool themes for you to use. However, on my end, I've recently been enjoying shades of purple along the material icon theme to make your icons look cool. You can also pair Fira code or Cascadia code with your theme. Just make sure you download the font, install all the variations of the TTF variable version, and change the font within your VSCode settings. Oh, and make sure you turn on your font ligature to have access to all the cool characters this font delivers. In the settings.json file, I always turn on the word wrap feature and I make sure React can use Emmet. I keep my font size to about 14 and I also turn on autosave so you avoid having to save your files every time you're done modifying them. As for extension, guys, I heavily recommend you get Prettier to automatically format your code, ES7 plus React for proper snippets to make JavaScript projects easier to write, auto rename tag to make your HTML life easier, live Sass compiler to compile your Sass into CSS, as well as live server to hot reload your web page when you're done with it. Those are my top 5 recommendations. With all of this installed, you can very much install your whole Node and JavaScript ecosystem, and the best way of doing so is by using NVM. The Node version manager is there to save you some headaches. For example, sometimes you might have projects that were written in Node 16, Node decides to update, and all of a sudden, some of those lines of code cannot be written the same anymore. Well, with the NVM, you can always choose the current Node version you're running your machine with. To install NVM, head to the repo and copy their installation command. Install this by using the terminal and make sure you add the path to your .c profile file just like Homebrew did it for you. If you restart the terminal, you'll notice that NVM will now work. From here, you can install any version of Node you wish to have. In my case, the projects I am working on are using version 16, plus NVM also installs NPM for you. Also, I don't know if you guys have realized, but within your root folder lives a hidden spot for your development needs. In fact, if you create a folder called developer, a little folder with a hammer will pop. This here is where you can keep all of your code files that you'd like to work on. Now, if you do run them in different environments, I of course recommend you use Docker. I've been slowly adopting Docker more and more into my personal projects, and since it's now natively supported, I've been using it. With this, I also recommend you install the VSCode Docker extension, and don't worry, as soon as you download the app and give it access, the Docker command will automatically install. If it turns out that you are developing API apps that you'd like to test, I recommend you use Postman to test endpoints. This here, in my opinion, is the best API platform for building and testing them. For some of my projects, I can easily link my Google account and structure all my APIs the way I want them. If it turns out that you are using tokens for things such as JWT, Postman really lets you customize your whole environment to make things super easy to run. I freaking love this app, and I've been using it along Compass to manage my databases for a long time now. That being said, another app I've been using for a long time is XCode. XCode was the very first IDE I learned when I first got into programming. It is the home of app development with Swift, and it's where you can very much build native iOS apps. However, lately I've been asked to try Flutter and to properly benchmark it. And so what I've been doing is playing around with Flutter. Although not only do you need XCode, but you also need Android Studio. And to install Android Studio on Apple Silicon, it's a bit of a pain. First, make sure you install Rosetta 2. Then you can use Brew to install the Adopt OpenJDK, which in short runs Java. Don't forget to set Java home within your .z profile file and test it. You can then head to the Android Studio webpage, check out the download options, and choose the ARM option to download. Go through the installation, as this will automatically download all the SDKs you need for Flutter. Just make sure the Android emulator and the Android SDK command line tools are indeed installed. Now you can just create a quick project, so we can go ahead and create a new device with it. I chose the Pixel 4 with the API level 31S version. Just make sure to test it before you use it. Now to install Flutter, make sure you head to their website and download the Flutter SDK for Apple Silicon. Once that's done, head to your developer folder, create a Flutter folder, and stick all the contents you downloaded into there. And this also includes the hidden files you can reveal by pressing Command-Shift-. With this, again, grab your .z profile file, pw the location in the terminal, and paste the whole path into this file. Now, if you run Flutter Doctor, you can see what's missing. Don't forget to accept the SDK licenses in order to make sure the Android toolchain is all good. If you want to make sure it all works, just create a simple Flutter project using VS Code, then head to the blue button bar and select the Pixel phone you created in order to run it. The very last environment I like to set up in my machines is Python, and Python is so clutch for building apps, including small apps like ACTop. For the longest time, I couldn't figure out how to set up proper Python environments, so a year ago, I had to look online to properly set one up. Alex, man, you're the man for these types of things. So Anaconda is what I've been using for a year now. It lets me manage Python environments with ease and install the packages I need for specific projects. Miniconda was recommended to me, and it's pretty much like Anaconda but bare bones. Once you install the ARM64 package, you'll see that now you get this base keyword in your terminal lines, which pretty much means you are in the base environment. With this, you can of course create an environment, activate it, and install the Python version you need. You can also just leave all the environments as you wish. That's also an option. Remember that with all the environments you create, you can attach different packages and versions of Python. With all this being said, there are a few last apps I recommend getting for your Apple development machine. These include Discord and Slack to keep your communications going. These are both supported by Apple Silicon and are heavily used by software developers to communicate. There is also a little app called Paste space that is great for when you are using Stack Overflow. This allows you to sort all of your copy and paste code into different folders and more. I think it's a must and you guys should give it a try. Another one is Gestimer. This one is a very light application allowing you to set timers. This one is great for reminders, and God knows us developers need lots of reminders. It's super clutch, easy to use, and comes in handy. The last one is TG Pro. TG Pro is how I track the thermals in this laptop. I did have to pay for it in order to track thermals for all of my devices, but it's so worth it, especially with a laptop like this that thermal throttles and has no fans. I did actually buy some thermal pads to try out. As for now, I average temperatures of about 40 degrees on idle and max temperatures of 107 degrees while running the XCode benchmark test. So I did open this up and I installed these in order to see if temperatures do drop and see if that sweet point before it thermal throttles shifts. I'll let you guys know in about a month or so when I make the programming review for this laptop. The very last thing I suggest you guys do is make a time machine. I cannot stress this enough, guys. A time machine will save you time, and in case you want to upgrade to another one, you won't have to redo all of these steps that we did today. Plus, I suggest cleaning your laptop every 6 months and keeping it safe with a tool like Clean My Mac. So every 6 months, wipe it and restore it. That being said, I hope this video helps you guys, whether you are new to programming or not. This is very clutch for computer science students, so if you are new to the software world, welcome. I'm disconnecting, guys, because that was way too much to set up. My eyes are gonna fall apart. I'll see you guys next week. Take care.